Right, so we're going to look quickly at using quotation marks, also called inverted commas. I prefer to call them quotation marks as that describes their job because they quote what has been said. Mostly they're used for direct speech. They can be used for some other things as well. Right. So let's just look at one by one different ways we can use it. So here you can see the car is red, he said. So here's what the person said. Then I have a comma, and I have my opening quotation mark and my closing quotation mark. Right, I still end with a full stop here, but here I have a quotation mark. Okay. The other way you can use it is what the person says is exactly the same. The car is red, but I've moved the he said to the front. He said the car is red. So now I have a comma here, but it is before the opening quotation mark, and my full stop moves inside before the closing quotation mark. He said the car is red. Then the car, he said, is red. What is happening here? Basically something that someone says you're splitting up. Okay. He's still saying the car is red. You're saying the car, he said, is red. So then I need to quote both these things. And once again, I have my comma here, the car, comma, there's my opening quotation mark, closing quotation mark. He said is red, so I need another comma there. Okay, and you'll see this starts with this doesn't start with a capital letter because it's the continuation of this thought. Here it does because it is the beginning of what the person says in their direct speech. Okay. Now, it's not always a comma or a full stop. If I look here, he's dead, she screamed. And I'm using an exclamation mark here. Exclamation marks used for expressing strong emotion or something loud, and therefore the exclamation mark comes before the closing quotation mark. Still end the sentence with a full stop there. However, here, if I move she screamed to the front, then the exclamation mark becomes the sentence ender, but I still close it with the closing quotation mark, right? For example, this here would not be correct, right? It has to be outside of it, okay? And then, of course, if you're using a question mark, she asked, is he dead? And it's the same as the exclamation mark. It goes before the closing quotation mark. You can also have, just go back there. Okay. Is he dead? She asked. And again, the exclamation mark replaces what would have been a comma, like up here, with a normal statement, but it becomes the question mark because it's a question. Okay, and then the closing quotation mark goes after that, and I end the sentence with a full stop. Now, another way you can use quotation marks is to show titles of songs, poems, things like that. A lot of times we'll use italics for a book title, but when you're writing with a pen and you might already be writing in cursive, you can't really use italics to show that something is a title. So usually for short things like poems or song titles, we can use quotation marks. For example, we listened to Let It Go in class because if I take out the quotation marks, and let's say we take out the capital letter, we listened to Let It Go in class, then it becomes very confusing. So in this case, the quotation marks just help you, especially the reader, if someone's reading your text, to highlight that, oh, that is a title of a song, right? Just go back. And here's another one. Here's an example of a poem, right? We read The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Now, you don't need to put quotation marks around the name of a person. It's already a proper noun. But here, It also avoids the confusion and it highlights the fact that this is a title. And I'll show you what happens if we take that out, we take out the capital letters, and it's going to look very strange. And it's going to make the sentence much harder. It's like, we read the road not taken by Robert Frost. You can see that just doesn't make sense at all. So that's why we use quotation marks for a title of a poem inside a sentence. All right. Thank you.